What is going on, traders? So I wanted to talk about something Michael Burry just tweeted today. As you know, he leaves Twitter periodically, comes back to tweet something significant, but he basically slammed the Fed, or really projected that the Fed would actually stop quantitative tightening by the fall or towards the end of the year due to an effect called a bullwhip effect. Now, he's been rightfully highly critical of the Fed before, but he's saying that they're actually going to slow down the raising of rates and selling assets off of the balance sheet due to this one effect that will likely take place in the retail sector. Now, this is a very interesting effect. I'll describe it in a second, but basically there's a story that came out on CNN that was detailing how retailers like Walmart and Target, they are actually thinking about it when customers do a return, because they have so much bloat, right? So much inventory glut. What they are thinking of doing is actually telling customers just to keep it, because if you've been tracking earnings, if you've been tracking retailer earnings lately, one of the things that they've been worried about in their guidance is that they've actually now have an inventory problem. So they've overestimated demand due to the demand that was present back when everybody had free money and the whole world was locked down and everyone was buying things like a rabid animal. So retail stores actually have overestimated demand, and that is leading to a lot of inventory bloat. So how does this tie in with what the Fed is thinking of doing, or what the Fed is planning on doing? Well, as you know, the Fed's number one goal, at least a purported goal, is to slow down price instability, right? But now if we have too much of something and not enough demand, and we are seeing demand destruction, well, the economy is likely going to see a slowdown, as we've seen in other sectors in the economy, such as housing, where housing has become so expensive that now we are finally starting to see a housing slowdown. And most economists predict that that downward trajectory is going to continue and become even more significant. So if there's enough demand destruction where the economy slows down to a halt, well, then raising rates and tightening in that environment could actually bring us not a soft landing, but a very hard landing. Could bring us a very deep recession as opposed to a shallow recession or no recession at all. It could also lead to stagflation, which some economists think we have now, where yes, the economy is slowing down, but prices are still high. Anyway, not to get too off track here, his overall prediction is that the Fed will actually likely stop their policies towards the end of the year, which would be a huge mistake according to him. And I think so as well, but what do I know? I'm not an economist. I just track these things. So a bullwhip effect, it comes from the term that you're probably thinking, a bullwhip, where when you whip it, it causes these ripples. It's when there's an imbalance between the quantity and the demand, and it can go in either direction. So like in COVID, when we saw, you know, people hoarding toilet paper and paper towels and cleaning products and stuff, you had sort of a bullwhip effect where there was too much demand and not enough supply. In this case, we will likely have, you know, not enough demand and too much supply, right? But the reason that it's called a bullwhip effect is because that goes up the supply chain. So it's not only the relationship between the retailer and the consumer, but it goes up the chain between the retailer and the wholesaler and the wholesaler and the manufacturer. And the further you go up the supply chain, the greater the impact. So concisely, what he's saying is that this effect can get so dramatic that the Fed will actually not only need to stop policies, their current policies of quantitative tightening, but now they'll find themselves on a track where they need to increase consumer demand by reversing these policies. Now, this may not be as crazy as you think, even though Michael Burry is known for some pretty outlandish ideas, and give him credit, some of them did come out to be 100% true, and he definitely put his money where his mouth is. But this isn't necessarily something that's out of the realm of possibility. I did a video yesterday where I showed you one of the Fed presidents already talking about the possibility of a 50 basis point rate hike for July, as early as July, when, you know, everyone is pretty much in agreement that at least a 75 basis point rate hike is necessary. But he came out saying that, hey, if CPI is actually going down, because the CPI numbers will come out before the next FOMC meeting, that if CPI shows a significant downtrend, then we might actually be softer on policy and recommend a 50 basis point rate hike.
If we start to see demand soften, and we are seeing some signs that demand is starting to soften in certain sectors of the economy, and if it's softening quicker than I anticipate, then it may be appropriate to go with a 50. If it's not, then it's probably appropriate to go with a 75.
So this is not out of the realm of possibility, especially for this Fed here, where they've shown that they're really willing to flip-flop on just the drop of a hat or the drop of a dime. Which is the proper term? Not sure. Maybe both. Either way, but this Fed has been shown that they're willing to flip-flop. So not out of the realm of possibility, and a very interesting scenario that could arise from this bullwhip effect. Anyway, sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think of this. I always want to hear from you guys. I try to answer every single comment, even the funny ones. If you got anything out of this, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.